No.
I'm getting the magic wand for this one. And we're shaking in.
And I got my dear.
I'm Glenda.
I'm Jeannie.
I'm Giovanna. We're very excited here about this is I guess, December the 2024, because we've been been doing this. So it's just all the magic.
Yeah.
We call it what sparkles in our life. And oh my gosh, it definitely sparkled for the year, right?
Yes, very sparkly year. And another one to come.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's like the embodiment of we put the intention out what our shows are going to be like, what sparkles, and now it's us fully embodying being the sparkle girls, being at the places that we desire to be, where we were talking about, like from a year ago, each episode that we talked about, it was like, now, even the word is, I don't know why that embodied word like keeps coming up, but it's almost like we've embodied these selves, you know what I mean? Like the now time, or magical realism you want to talk about.
Yeah, I love that word that you brought forward, the magical realism.
Yes.
Which is, as soon as you said it, I said, this is what Mary Poppins, the whole Mary Poppins idea was when, and I think it was in another episode that we talked about, that she had gotten, Walt Disney purchased the rights to film her book, and it's that beautiful film that he did. But the producers came forward to her and they're like, oh yeah, it's just the idea of the magic behind everyday life. And she goes, no, Mary Poppins is everyday life.
Yes.
And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the magic that is everyday life, the ability to live in a universe that is pure magic, pure miracles.
Yes.
And we are making a commitment in this moment of now, in our awareness and consciousness, that we are on the magic track.
Yes.
And we are living it. And we want our entire audience that sees the Sparkle Show, because it's conversations to sparkle the magic within. We've had a year of sparkling magic within our lives. And we are fully embracing that now. And we want to have you all on board for 2025, because we are going to have,
whoa.
we are going full speed ahead on the magic track.
Yeah.
And I love that we're on a beautiful beach in Aruba, and we're all gathering at our retreat with hundreds of people that they're so cool, like the coolest people you could ever imagine in the world, that know and love and want to come together and celebrate. And we're doing these beautiful dances and rituals, and bringing in all of because magic is just undiscovered science. It's just
lots of play, lots of
dancing,
lots of I remember even Jeannie, when we got together in San Diego, it would have been like her second time or third time, I can't remember, meeting up. And the second time meeting up, and we ended up in San Diego at the Airbnb right close to it at the same time. And I was driving from Canada, and I went through all the LA,
all the stops, and I was coming from Phoenix,
and we
literally
and
within
we had
minutes.
It was just you and me there. We met up with everybody else, but we had a conversation. I remember us walking, and we had the realization of the magic wand, and we're the magic wand. No, we're the sparkles in the magic wand. And so now, a year and a half later or something, you want to be the part of the Sparkle Show? Yes, of course. So it's we said it. We did not know what would be unfolding. So, and then a year ago, I don't think it's a coincidence that it's December that we started a year ago. And it was you want to be the Sparkle Show? And so we were performing in the Sparkle Show. And it's just and now when we listen back to all those other shows that we put together, and to be we come, we enjoy ourselves, we're just having a good time. Our intention is to just be in the pure now enjoyment of each other, sharing our wisdom, sharing this yummy conversation, not having I'm not sure what was going to happen. And then here is a year later, and you're oh my gosh, the magic. embodying the magic that we are, not like, you know, outside of us, but it's within us. And
Right,
Yes.
right. Not the cards, not the stars, not the,
yes,
you know,
yes,
anything, just
yes,
us.
yes. And having it all
It's
within,
yes,
right?
and that's the key. It's not looking outside for proof of it, but it's being it, living it,
Mhm.
and
Wow.
And the
then
outside,
watching it
yes,
appear all around
yes,
you. But first, it's that embodiment of what you're
yes,
talking about.
yes,
It's that knowing within and just saying, no, this is what I say is happening.
yes,
And you just keep going back
yes,
to, nope, this is
yes,
what I want. This is what I choose. This is who
yes,
I am.
And it's
And you
so
yes,
keep,
yummy. When you do that, it's so
yes,
yummy.
yes, you
yeah.
just keep owning the truth of yourself. And even if 3 days presenting something different, it's like,
Even if the 3D calls you a leech, it doesn't mean it. What? Why did I call myself that? What is the
yes,
root
we've
part
had
of
some
this? Right?
incidences that
Yeah, but
3D's speaking up differently than our magic, but
that's what it is. Like, so we will have contrast, and we will have, like, those are just words. Like, even when you think
mm,
of death, it's like, there's, what's the meaning of it anyways? Who told you what death means? And we know now death doesn't mean death because everything is
yeah,
all here in the now. It's all
And
now.
all of it, all of this stuff coming up is all of it is just a fine tuning instrument
Yep.
so that you can
Yeah.
fine tune what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
it,
And the
and what you want, what your heart's telling you, what your soul
yeah.
is saying, let's go
Yeah.
do this,
Yeah.
let's go, and it's really letting go of all the beliefs. I love
The
that
beliefs,
story
the
in the
beliefs are
Bible.
bullshit.
Yeah, the
Let go of all the
hogwash, right?
bullshit.
Yeah, I love
What
that
story?
story in the Bible when Adam and Eve, they'd eaten the apple and all that stuff, and God's like, "Hey, where are you?" and all this stuff, and they're like, "We're ashamed, we're hiding, we're naked," and God's like, "Who told you you were naked?
Yeah.
Like you've been naked the whole time. Like why now are you freaking out about this and
And
thinking something's wrong?" And I
and that
just love that.
yeah, it reminds me of like when I went to Sedona and I went to that what you call it, the church, the whatchamacallit?
Oh yeah. Is it the church on the rock? No,
Yeah,
church.
yeah, yeah. What's it
Yeah,
called again?
okay.
The oh my God, the chapel or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, the
So
chapel on the
okay,
rock or something
so
like
I
that.
remember
Yeah.
walking in, and then there's, you know, Jesus hanging, and then there's the three green apples. And so when I went up there, and it was like this clear message because it's like all the old, I feel like stories with like, you know, he's hanging in the cross, like that's not very
Mhm.
pretty, you know what I mean? Like, but there's
Yeah.
these beautiful green apples above him, like just beautiful apples, and you're like, you know, it's the taste of life, it's the joy of life, it's a play of life. Like, I feel like him hanging on, and even his name, Jesus, Yeshwan, you know, when you think the Mary, Magdalene, it's just like all these stories of like, you know, you know, masculine or whatever, and old stories of the men and all that kind of stuff. But it's just like, no, it's the joy, it's the children, it's the fun. Like this is such an old story. Like, and it just I felt my purpose even more because it was like, there's joy here. It's not the Jesus is our friend. He's like with us right here and now. Like, you know, what are you putting your attention on? You know, what stories, like, you know, the old stories from the Bible, and you're like, is the Bible how certain people put it to be, or could it be the manifesting Bible? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what meaning are we giving it? Right? We can, like you said, who told you? Who told you all these other stories in them meant the way they share them? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's everyone has these different perceptions of these stories. And I know Neville Goddard
Yeah.
and Tom Kieran and
Yeah.
and Joseph Campbell and
Yeah.
all of these teachers throughout the years have put their perception of the stories. And
Yes.
it's always a very empowering, very joy filled, very limitless
Yeah.
story.
To me,
And
it
that's the
fears.
story.
To me, it felt like love was always the truth to me, like as a kid. And I was just
Yeah,
like,
that's
you know,
it.
if you did go to church and you listen to things, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right, this doesn't feel, why should we be scared of things, of fear things, fear God, fear this, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
putting fear in it's like, no, but I feel like it's all joy, I feel like it's like, how can you have, I wrote this the other day, how can, the birds are singing in the morning, the sun is rising, like the beautiful butterflies, you can have all this beauty around you, but then there's this evil or fear that's around you. Like, what do you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on the beautiful flowers? Like this, like it just like, what's the meaning of these birds? Look at these birds that fly so free, and then they're always in tune, and you have like millions of birds. They're doing this dance in the air, and then they're like, and then they all land on something all at once, and it's just like, how do you explain all this beauty? You know what I mean? Like, how can there
Yeah.
be that
Yeah.
when there's that? You know?
Well, and that's Course in Miracles. There's either fear or love. And they really say there's either love or a call for love. Like if you're in fear, it's a call for love. It's
Yeah.
like, please, someone tell me who I am.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the person, and they said, and the responsibility is the person who's most aware and conscious. Like that's who's, I mean, that's, as you stay in awareness and consciousness, you're the one that is able to say,
You're able
come,
to.
come get into your heart, and then and take a
truth.
breath and focus on what you want. And then usually, you're able to do a complete 180 in your thinking. Just that, just putting your hands on your heart, you take a breath, and someone says, what does your heart say? Or focus on what you want and speak what you want and all that stuff. And as soon as they do, usually in my experience, people are like, oh my gosh, oh, that feels better. And it's like, right?
Yeah. Or like the whole premise. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Love Actually.
Yeah, I
but
love that movie.
The premise of that movie is that people, for as terrible as people say the world is, when the planes went into the Twin Towers, there were no messages of revenge or hatred. There were all messages of love, and that love actually is all around. And
that is the power that operates everything. That's the power that's running our, beating our hearts, and that's putting all the planets in orbit, in the perfect orbit, and the perfect amount of sun to make everything grow on the earth. And all of this perfection is what is operating the whole of the cosmos, of everything, of what's operating our bodies.
And anything that appears not to be perfect is so easy to get rid of, because the perfection is here. It's just an illusion. Anything else is an illusion, and it's so easy.
What are you choosing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you feeding? What are you focusing on?
Easy. That's the thing. It's so easy.
What are you giving meaning to? Like our happy billionaire story, or the fairy tale.
Yeah.
I'm living my happily ever after. I'm living my heaven on earth now. I am, in my fairy tale. Like.
And us appearing on the Oprah show and having thousands of followers, and having all that we need, all that more and more and more than we could ever need, just easily being here.
Yeah.
I have to tell a story now that you just brought this all up. So the other day when I was in my just in a practice mediumship class, and some of my classmates or whatever, and so there's this one, I had one friend that had passed a while back or whatever, and he hadn't come through yet. And so all of a sudden he comes through, and I knew it was him. And then I was like, oh, like I was curious about him and whatever. And I was like, that's him. And then like a few days later, like, so I have my calendar, and on my calendar, the 12th month is like December, sorry, is the owl, is that same owl member that I saw in the forest that said, mind your own business. So same owl, right, is on my calendar, and I'm looking at it, and I go look at it, and it's got these big black eyes, right? The same calendar that's been there. I've looked at this owl because we talked about it like a couple months back when I saw the other owl. And I looked at it, and this time I looked at it, in the one black eye, I could see the face of the guy that just came through. I was like, what? And I'm like, okay, why would, you know what I mean? So I'm like, all of a sudden, and then yesterday I went to go visit a friend that I hadn't seen in like, I don't know, actually 4 months or 5 months. And she would be the other person that would know him out of all the people I know. And I don't visit her that often. And there was a time I didn't see her for like a year and a half or whatever. But it was like, we had talked. And then I went to visit her yesterday. And then I had told her this story because she knew him. And then all of a sudden there was a couple, we were in her new home. And all of a sudden there was a weird couple things that just started happening. Like her wash thing, all of a sudden went down and went flying off. Like she was just like, what happened? Was that Joel? And I'm like, because you said it is him, right? And then something else had happened in her house, and she's like, and we're both looking at each other like, okay. I'm like, now that I'm open, he's coming in all the time now. Like I was just like, and so I was like, of course he's coming in at this time, because what was I talking about earlier about, being woken up and going like, you need to get a job, or you need to do this or whatever. So he was my financial advisor.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Right? And so I'm like, of course he's coming in, because he's coming in from the energy side. And it's just like, and the message I'm getting is like, we got this. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm helping you on this end of it, as opposed to.
And 2025, it feels like the Sparkles show is, I know we've always included the unseen and the seen, but we are all of the cosmos. We are doing the magic track. All the cosmos, the seen and the unseen, are on the Sparkles show, and it's full communication. There's no veil, and
these words are just,
it's really we're inviting in the miracles and the magic and the
sweetness and the beauty.
Yeah, the pure love and phenomenal.
Do you want to talk about
life.
your friend Gwendolyn, or do you want to say that for the next one? The book, the lady that wrote the book.
Yeah, let's have her on. I'd like to have her on.
Oh, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody who wants to hear this magical story.
Yeah, she's the one that coined the phrase magical realism, but it's
she didn't. What's more amazing is that it's a phrase in the established real publishing industry now, but it normally
lovely
fiction stories. Hers is the first nonfiction that's using it.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, I don't know this, but Mary Poppins sounded like Mary Poppins. The lady that wrote Mary Poppins sounded like she was living the magical life that she portrayed as Mary Poppins in that book. So I don't know. Yeah, that may have been one of the first magical realism, because
but they didn't even know it.
Yeah, this is what we're inviting in. We're inviting in the whole
oh my God. Like we're
greater reality of wonder and awe.
Yeah. That's it. Like we let go. Bye, Giovanna of 2024.
Yeah. Well, and so much love and compassion to those versions of us that got us to this point where we're like, oh my gosh, it is not a solid universe. It is not a solid reality. Things are shifting and changing, and it's focusing on, what do you want? What does your heart say?
Yes.
To live.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
It's beautiful, delicious.
Thank you, Rome guy who took my phone. Oh my gosh, the last couple, how many months have been just like, whoo. Yeah, and your new friend.
And my new friend, Laszlo, with his little bow tie.
Oh, so cute. Can't wait to pet him. Yes.
Puppy love.
Yes.
Yes.
You guys feel...
Okay, I guess we could go now.
I'm getting covered in kisses, puppy kisses, So
since we're stating the new is coming, are we really ready? Are we ready for this, ladies?
Yes. Are you ready?
Are we ready?
Still gonna get
I am
ready.
ready.
I am ready. I am ready.
I'm ready.
Is everyone out there in YouTube land, are you ready, or are you still gonna be getting ready to live your dream? Be ready. I'm ready.
Yep.
It's here. We're here.
Oh, here. I'm going to do this because I feel like, are you ready? Let's go. Rocket ships. Woo.
Bye, Sparkles.
Wow.
Woo.